The cries of a mother pierced through the scorching air of Ouagadougou. On the dusty steps of the main city hospital, a young woman clutched her limp child to her chest, rocking him desperately. His tiny body burned with fever, his eyes half closed, breaths shallow like whispers, fading into silence. "Please, someone help my son!" she screamed, her voice breaking with terror. But doctors walked past her as if she were invisible. Nurses shook their heads. The answer was always the same. No money, no treatment. The child's head rolled weakly against her arm. She collapsed to the ground, sobbing, as people gathered around, murmuring in anger and shame. Everyone could see the boy was dying, yet no one dared to break the hospital's cruel rule. No one, until a black SUV suddenly stopped at the gates. From it stepped a man in military fatigues, his sharp eyes scanning the scene. Gasps rippled through the crowd. It was Captain Ibrahim Traoré, the president of Burkina Faso, and what he did next would shake the entire nation. Traoré had been returning from a community visit on the outskirts of the city. His convoy always drew attention, but unlike most leaders, he often told his drivers to slow down whenever he saw a crowd. He wanted to know what the people were facing. He wanted to see reality with his own eyes. That day, reality was brutal. He saw the mother cradling her child, her cries so raw that they pierced his chest. The boy looked like life was slipping out of him with each fragile breath. "What's happening here?" Traoré asked, his voice steady yet heavy with concern. The mother looked up, hardly believing who stood before her. "My son, he's dying. They won't treat him. They told me to bring money, but I have nothing, Excellency, nothing." The crowd erupted with murmurs, anger, shame, desperation. Some shouted, "They let our children die. They don't care about the poor." Traoré clenched his fists. He could see the truth in her words and the anger boiling in the people's eyes. Without waiting another moment, he strode toward the hospital. Inside, administrators rushed forward, nervous. "Mr. President, what an honor." "Why is a child dying outside your hospital doors?" Traoré demanded, his voice echoing off the walls. "Sir, we have procedures. We cannot treat without advance payment." "Procedures?" His tone cut like steel. "So paper and money matter more than a child's life? Is this why you became doctors? To trade life for coins?" Some lowered their eyes in shame. One nurse whispered, "I wanted to help, but they threatened my job if I touched the boy." Traoré's voice grew louder, filled with fire. "If saving lives risked your job, then your oath means nothing. And if this hospital refuses to serve the people, then it has no right to exist." Storming back outside, Traoré bent down and gently lifted the child in his arms. The boy's body was hot with fever, his tiny fingers clutching weakly at the president's uniform. He turned toward the doors. "This child will be treated now. If anyone dares refuse, I will shut this hospital down tonight." No one dared argue. Doctors rushed. Nurses brought oxygen tanks, IV drips, and medicine. The boy was carried inside, placed on a bed, and treatment began immediately. His breathing steadied. His fever began to drop. The mother fell at Traoré's feet, sobbing in relief. "You saved my son. May God bless you, my president." Traoré gently lifted her up. "Do not thank me. Thank justice. Thank humanity. A child's life should never be measured by wealth." Word spread within hours. Videos filmed by bystanders flooded social media, showing the president carrying the dying child, shouting at the hospital staff, and demanding immediate care. Radio stations, newspapers, and online outlets repeated the story endlessly. For the people of Burkina Faso, this was more than breaking news. It was proof that their leader was one of them. But Traoré didn't stop there. The very next morning, he issued an emergency decree. No hospital in Burkina Faso would ever again refuse treatment because of money. "From today forward," he declared on national television, Our hospitals will belong to the people. No mother will watch her child die at the gates of medicine. We may be a poor nation, but compassion is richer than gold. Citizens cheered in the streets. Some cried tears of pride. Doctors across the country promised to serve with renewed dedication. A week later, the boy's condition had improved. His cheeks regained color. His smile returned. When Traoré visited him in the hospital, the child clung to his hand and whispered, "Uncle, will you always protect us?" Traoré smiled warmly. "Always. That is my duty." The staff, who had once looked away, now stood silently, ashamed, but also inspired. They had witnessed what true leadership looked like, not from orders, but from example. The boy became known across the country as the child saved by the president. His story was retold in villages, schools, and homes. Parents told their children that Burkina Faso had a leader who carried the weak in his own arms. For the people, it wasn't just about one child. It was about the new kind of leadership, one that chose humanity over bureaucracy, compassion over corruption. Traoré showed that true strength lies not in power, but in kindness. Doctors refused, systems failed, but compassion triumphed. And so the boy lived, not just because of medicine, but because one man chose to lead with his heart. That day, Burkina Faso did not just save a child, it remembered what it means to be a nation, to never abandon one another.
Doctors refused to save a dying child, but one man stood up against a broken system. Ibrahim Traoré didn't just save a boy. He gave hope to an entire nation. This is leadership. This is humanity. If this story touched your heart, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with the world, because kindness is contagious. What would you have done if you were in his place? Comment below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful real stories that the world needs to hear.